Welcome to the Duarte Show. I'm your host, Duarte. And welcome to this edition of the episode of the show. And welcome to the edition of How Did the Democrats Lose in 2016 and 2024? People want to signal a reason, but there isn't one. The Democrats didn't lose because of one candidate or one election. They lost because they lost connection with key voters. In the 2016 primary, the Democratic Party chose standability over energy. Hillary Clinton represented experience and standability. Bernie Sanders represented anger at the system, and many voters felt like it was broken. That's why many of them voted for Bernie. But at the same time, the party won the primary, but not the energy from voters. Some voters felt disengaged, stayed home, or stopped trusting in the process of elections. At the same time, the Democrats became closely tied with institutions, experts, and the elites in politics. For voters struggling with rent, food, healthcare, that created a gap between policy and reality. Culture culture issues looked center stage, while economic stress kept rising. The Republicans, with Donald Trump and MAGA, offered a simple message. The Democrats offered a complex explanation. And in a close election, that turnout matters more than ideology. The excitement dropped. Less followed. The Democrats didn't lose because their values failed. They didn't lose because many voters felt unheard. It's because politics isn't just about being right, it's about making people seen. This lesson isn't this lesson isn't that the Democrats can't win. We know they can win. For example, they won in New York in the New York primary against Andrew Cuomo and Curtis, the Republican challenger, and Cuomo being the independent challenger. We know the Democrats can win. The Democrats recently won a House seat in the governor race in Virginia and the governor's race in New Jersey. We know they can win, but it's not no party wins forever. And a party that doesn't listen will forever stop winning. Politics isn't about being right, it's about being understood. And until that changes, and until that loses the mentality of, oh, we're right and you're wrong, they will never win another election if we keep nominating the same candidates that like to point the fingers. In today's episode, we will get down to the bottom on how they lost in 2016 and 2024. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube and subscribe to our channel on Spotify to keep updated and stay part of the Youth Counter-Revolution. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. We'll crack down everything that happened in 2016 and 2024 in this episode. Thank you. American presidential elections are more than a vote, a number. They tell a story on how the people really feel, really how they really feel, who they really trust, and what they want from their leaders. Today, we're going to look back into multiple elections, and we're going to mainly talk about two that changed the nation for the worse. 2016 and 2024, the same system, same country, very, very different results, but very similar. Very similar lessons, may I add. In 2016, the United States voted on November 8th, 2016, for President Donald Trump that defeated Hillary Clinton, the Democratic challenger. Trump won 304 electoral votes to Clinton's 227, even though Clinton won more votes across the country, winning the popular vote, she failed to get enough electoral college. Donald Trump is an outsider, someone without previous office, whoever held a office in politics ever before. He just ran as a candidate for change. He spoke about protecting jobs, borders, challenging political norms, as Clinton was an experienced political outsider, focused on continuing the Obama campaign. In key states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Trump won by very, very small margins. But Trump won in very big margins in states like North Carolina and Florida, other swing states, which that gave him the electoral win that he needed. Many Democrats of these states that ran basically won the Rust Belt. Clinton is the only one, Hillary Clinton, may I add, is the only one who failed to win enough electoral votes to make sure they win. In 2020, those states went back to blue. Polls before Election Day show Clinton at a strong lead. Many analysts thought she was going to win, but Donald Trump overperformed expectations in the Midwest, especially voters who felt forgotten about economic change after the 2008 recession. Media coverage, including social media, debate performance, and also driven toward Trump's message to disrupt the political elite, even though Donald Trump is now the elite that we're talking about. Clinton's campaign was weighed down by concerns of trust and transparency, including a controversy over her emails. Fast forward to 2024, another pinnacle election. Former President Trump ran again after losing the former President Joe Biden in a fair and free election. Even though Donald Trump tried to overturn the election, people still voted for him. Even though Donald Trump had 36 felonies, criminal charges against his name, they still voted for him. He ran against, and this time was Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee. After Joe Biden lost the election, dropped out the election after the debate, Donald Trump won the election again with 312 electoral votes to Harris's 226. Unlike 2016, the first time since 1980 that one party flipped control of Congress and the presidency in the same year, Republicans gained the Senate and kept control of the House, giving them basically a guardrail of we own everything now, we won everything. Now, the question you may ask, and it's very important that we ask this question: how did Donald Trump win? Why did he win? Researchers and analysts say several key trends helped Donald Trump win in 2024. One was Donald Trump. One was Joe Biden. Two, it was the economic collapse that we saw. Even though Joe Biden had the best economy out of all the presidents so far in the 21st century, with inflation only reaching 1.2%, 1.5%. Donald Trump was running off the economy, immigration, and many analysts say Donald Trump won off of those basic needs. Donald Trump was saying, "Oh, we're going to get grocery prices down." He also appealed to traditional Latino voters and men across our groups. Now, the same Latino voters are asking for Donald Trump to stop the ICE raids. Third, turnout patterns change. Analysts suggest that the election had more turnout than 2016. And finally, both in 2016 and 2024, the swing states that were very close made a difference. Several states were decided by a few percentage points, showing how tight the races were. Comparing 2016 to 2024, both elections follow a pattern of dissatisfaction with the status quo. In 2016, Many voters were frustrated with economic anxiety and distrust of the elite. Donald Trump came in and gave a message of change. 2024 was the same demographics were playing. Economic concerns, debate over immigration, identity, and questioning leadership and direction. After Joe Biden dropped out, of course, Kamala became the nominee, and people really concerned with that because you're flopping a leader. Why do these elections matter? These elections matter beyond who won. Simple question, right? So why do these elections matter beyond who won? Because they show that the America's politics landscape is shifting. Voters are influenced by a mix of issues: economic, identity, trust, and change. So they know how things work. The Electoral College is the reason why. The popular vote, even though if you get the most votes, you lose the election if you don't have the enough Electoral College in each state. In 2016 and 2024, that's what we saw happen. We saw a Donald Trump landslide. Now, elections just don't tell us who leads. It tells us what the people think is broken, what they fear, and now what we can hope. 2016 and 2024 are both moments where many Americans felt change was necessary, and they voted that way. Understanding these elections help us understand the country and where it is going might go next. But you have to understand, why did Clinton lose in 2016? Well, it was simple. The email scandal that she had, the emails that she had. The only reason why Kamala lost was because she was only given 107 days, which I have her book right here. She was only given 107 days to win the presidency, to get the presidency at least. In her book, 107 Days, it speaks about how she was basically left in the dark about everything. She found out due to an advisor. And this is the first photo what you see when you open the book. Her on the phone with advisors after getting a call from Joe Biden saying he might drop out. She was left in the dark for over a year. Not even 4 years in office, not knowing what's actually going on in the administration. That's what that book speaks about. And it's very important that we understand that it's not her fault that she lost. It's the fault of the previous administration, Joe Biden's, even though Biden was a decentable president. But we have to understand the demographic that she was going against, the problems that she wanted to fix, but she couldn't because she wasn't commander in chief. I hope we understand. It's emotion over resume. And Harris won with emotion, but she lost the general election. She won the primary. The base was amped up. Polling was up for her. But one thing she didn't do that Clinton didn't do is that she didn't go off of polling. She went off of actually campaigning, hearing people's concerns. That's where the Clinton campaign fell short. The only problem with the Harris campaign was simply the fact was only 107 days to get her out there more, because vice presidents are really not that known. And it's important that we understand that it's not her fault. It's not her advisor's fault. It's not anyone that was working on the campaign. It was the simple fact is Donald Trump was already in upper hand because the Republican Party did not change the nominee. And Trump had 4 years to campaign, which he did. Trump's assassination attempt boosted him up a lot, a lot, a lot. It's not her fault. It's just simply the fault of the previous campaign that let her only have 107 days. The election is never decided because of one movement, one mistake, one headline. It's decided by trust, energy, and rather the people feel heard, and feel very, very locked in with the candidate. 2016 wasn't only about emails, debates, or party drama. 2020 wasn't about the failure of the Democratic Party having to go back to its original roots. And it's not about the absolute failure of the Biden campaign back in 2024. It's about voters feeling ignored. They look for change, and when they feel uncertain, they look for someone that sounds confident. The lesson isn't about one party winning or one party losing. It's about listening, because politics, the movement, people feel unheard. And this is the movement of the Youth Counter-Revolution, endorsing candidates that will actually put people first over their party and put other people ahead, and making sure our country is serving the people. The Youth Counter-Revolution is about fighting for change and making sure American values and cultural values from every single culture that represents our country is represented the proper way, and making sure our country remains in the number one spot. Democracy is very important, but if the Democratic Party wants to win in 2008, they need to make sure they have a candidate for the working class, a candidate for progressives, a candidate that can expand and work for every single person they're running they're running for. And if they want to win the election, they must fix their troubles, fix their troubled past, and make a clear option and a clear path between the differences of the GOP and them. And if they want to win, that is how they're going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the Duarte Show episode today, and I hope you understand everything that we were talking about. And tune in for the next week episode, where we'll be talking about the failed coup of January 6th. And I hope you enjoy the episode. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube and on Spotify for weekly updates on our world and modern politics. Thank you, and welcome to the Youth Counter-Revolution.